What's up, fam? Thank y'all for tuning in once again. And as always, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, hit that notification bell so every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know about it. Hey, today I want to do a video about a real touchy subject, especially in the last few months, if not the last few years. I'm dealing with the violence against the LGBT community. Now, you know, the past few months, big stories with Dave Chappelle, Lil Boosie, Floyd Mayweather, and about the quote unquote, homophobia, transphobia that these young brothers supposedly display. But then we kind of dismissed that, saying, we got a video about that. Kind of dismissed this, saying about that nobody's really afraid of of certain genders. It's just that, like I say, it's like really no fear. It's just people don't like the lifestyle, and they don't want to deal with it. It's just, period, point blank. But like I said, I'm not gonna get into that. I got a video. Like I said, I already got a video about that. But what I want to talk about today is two murders, two trials that have been in the news in the past couple of weeks, and discuss the one thing that people are not talking about. People in the LGBTQ community are not willing to discuss. And the question is why? Why they're not willing to discuss it. So anyway, the first story is here. It's on the Daily Mail. It's about Virginia Tech linebacker charged with second-degree murder and brutal beating death of Tinder date, who's 40, after the two had quote-unquote oral sex, and the teen later found out the victim was a man posing as a woman. Now, quickly it says, it's Seaman, I know I'm messing his word up, his name, G.R.O.W.T.H, 18, was indicted on Tuesday, and this story came out on about a couple of weeks ago. So indicted on Tuesday the murder of a 40-year-old restaurant manager, Jerry Paul Smith. Prosecutors alleged that G.R.O.W.T.H matched with Smith on Tinder in April, when Smith was reportedly posing as a woman named Angie. Now, family and friends said that this guy would, work and was a man throughout the day, but then at night or in his other life, he, would be pretend to be a woman and go on Tinder and post his up as himself being a woman. So he then went back to Smith's apartment on May 31st, allegedly to find out whether Smith was a male or a female. After discovering that Smith was a man, prosecutors say the young teen repeatedly punched and stomped him. Say Smith's cause of death was determined to be blunt force trauma to the head. Now, what the story says here is that what the young man, I guess after the sexual encounter, say the young man told police Angie was hiding his face during their intercourse and paid him $50 at the end. Now, I'm not sure. I guess it's saying that Angie paid him $50, which is kind of odd, because if you don't know he's a man, so my speculation would be that this person performed the act on you and then paid you $50. That's kind of like I said, it's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of, I don't know, but that's my thought process coming from a straight black male. And it said, but also was here, it said that the young man also said that he stopped messaging Angie after the interaction because he wasn't sure Angie was who she said she was. But a month later, Angie reached out to him again and invited him over, telling him to bring some friends. So the problem with this story is, again, the older man was living a lie. And made this young brother believe that he was a woman. And after the first encounter, I guess, the young man had apprehensions or questions about this guy was a man or woman now, so he stopped talking to him for whatever reason. But then the guy kept trying to message him back, and he went over there just to find out if he was a dude. They couldn't find out he wasn't a dude because they said he got a flashlight out. So the room was dark, but the apartment was dark. So I guess he said he used his cell phone. I guess he flashed his cell phone flashlight on the guy and found out the dude was a man and got, and just beat the man to death. And it's like, you never advocate murder, but then again, you never know the person that you're dealing with. You don't know what kind of, emotions that this young man has. How his mind was working. So unfortunately, the guy lost his life. And I'm just gonna be blunt, based on living a lie. He's just pretending to be somebody that he's not, and he paid the consequences for it. But people want to talk about there's an uptick in violence against the transgender community, but they're not talking about the fact that a lot of these murders, once you dig into them deep and get more detail, a lot of these murders happen after the killer found out that the person was not a female. And this goes on to my second story. Now, this came out this week. It said, man gets 37 years. This is out of WFAA.com, straight out of Dallas. The man gets 37 years for murdering Dallas transgender woman. Now, I wanted to read the News One version of this because when you read from different sources, you can tell the agenda, especially from certain sources. So this is from News One, supposedly a black, I don't know if it's black owned, but everything's supposed to be for black people, black ran, black what have you. And it says, according to the Associated Press, Alvarado, which is the guy that, so the murderer's name is Ruben Alvarado. A man charged in the killing of 26-year-old Chanel Lindsay, a black trans woman whose body was pulled out of White Rock Lake in Dallas, Texas on June 1st, 2019. The jury heard all the heinously gory details presented as evidence of how Lindsay died. The members of the jury were shown footage of Lindsay's body being pulled from the lake with a belt wrapped around her neck. They were shown an autopsy report that found she had died of strangulation and blunt force injury to the head, and they were told her body appeared to be badly beaten and strangled with multiple objects. So according to Associated Press, which same story get on WFA.com, Alvarado testified that on the night of Lindsay's death, he took her to the lake to have sex, but he discovered her biological sex and demanded that she leave his vehicle. At that point, the 24-year-old claimed she attacked him and he strangled her with his belt in self-defense. Now, the News One says, imagine thinking that anyone, let alone the jury, would buy the idea, and they spelled buy wrong anyway, buy the idea that he was attacked and that his natural method of self-defense wasn't striking back with his hands or feet, but instead of taking off his belt and getting himself in position to strangle his victim with it. Okay. And it said, nah, bro, you found out the woman you were with was trans and you committed what certainly amounts to a hate crime and ended her life. News One. The problem with your story is you have a one-way bias, a one-sided bias. Again, this young man, this transgender male died. Again, we don't condone violence. I feel if somebody has wronged you and done something wrong to you, you find out somebody's lied to you, the best course of action, you can get upset, argument, whatever, but the best course of action is to walk away. But the problem is you're dealing with emotions. sexual acts and murders, especially crimes of passion, that we all know people have gone to trial for crimes of passion. There's an emotion, there's some hormones that are raging, like I say, with murder, with crimes of passion and sexual acts that no one can explain, that you cannot dictate how somebody's going to act when they're performing the two acts. This is like, because the energy pretty much can be, from what studies say, close and near the same. So like I say, the problem is, like I say, the transgender community needs to come out and say publicly, because publicly you come out and say people hate you, but publicly you also need to come out and tell your people to stop lying to these men. Because I'm sorry, being a straight black male, I do not want to deal with a man. I don't care. With someone that was born a man. Period. I don't care how you, I don't care what you think, how you feel, what you think is right or wrong. You cannot make people like you. I can't make no one like me. You can't make people like you. So why in the world are you trying to turn people around to see things your way? It just ain't gonna happen. Yes, you may get guys, I've seen stories where two people have a relationship and they fall in love or what have you, and then next thing you know, the guy find out that the woman was born a man, and for, you know, and they continue the relationship, what have you. Okay, that happens, but why take that? Why take the chance of being physically harmed or even murdered, you know, based on a lie? Because I know guys who, well, I've heard stories of guys who beat up women, kill women, because they were lied to about who the baby was, who the father of a child was. You know, if they were dating or having sex with an ex or was cheating on them or something. These things happen in straight communities. So I don't know why the LGBTQ community feels they get a pass on that. I have 2 daughters. And you know what I tell them? I always tell them to protect themselves when it comes to guys. One, you get your, weapon, get your heater. You know what I'm saying? Take target practice, learn how to shoot it. Get your little something you can put in your purse if need be. Get you some mace, get your taser, self-defense class. Even go as far as saying how you dress, how they dress from time to time, you know? Because, I mean, people get mad and say, oh man, can't tell nobody how to dress. I'm telling you to protect yourself from everything. Not saying it's gonna stop people from doing what they want to do or trying to commit whatever heinous acts they want to try to commit, because sometimes people just say we're gonna do it regardless. They're gonna do it regardless. But you protect yourself as much as possible. And another thing I tell them to do is don't lie to these guys. If you're gonna date somebody, if you're gonna date people, you let them all know that if they're the only one that you're dating, or if that you're dating other people. You never let a person think that they're the only one and they're not. You do not base relationships on lies, because that other person may be more emotionally attached than you are. You might think it's a joke, think it's fun, play around on dudes, whatever the case may be, but that dude may not be taking it as a joke. That dude might be taking you seriously, y'all relationship seriously. Maybe crazy enough to even think you his property. But what you don't do, as I say, the rule number 1, you don't lie to individuals. You ain't gotta tell them everything that's going on, but when it comes to the basic details of your life that you know that needs to be known to make the relationship run smoothly, you do that. You cover all bases so that there are no surprises. And that way, if something do happen, you can say, well, at least I tried to cover myself, but he still want to act crazy, so I had to put, had to use that heat on. I had to use that taser on. Call the police, call my daddy. Whatever the case, whatever. But you don't base it on a lie. And like I say, it's so that goes. This should be the rules for everybody, especially transgender community, because like I said, nobody wants to get that surprise that a person is had sex with you, or had did a sexual act with you, and then all of a sudden kind of find out surprise, not a woman, I'm a man. Like, what? You know what I'm saying? Now you done freak the guy out. But like I was saying, what I should say too, so I looked up a lot of these recent murders within the past couple of years of transgender people, and if you notice, I'm gonna tell you, you notice that some of these people were murdered in cars, which makes me think that maybe sexual acts were being performed or about to be performed, and the man reached over, groping the other man, and found out that person got man parts. That's my opinion. That's how I think it happens. And all hell breaks loose, and then you got a murder on your hand. Now, as for this Ruben Alvarado, you saying that you found out that this person was a man, and then you pulled your belt off and strangled him. Well, I don't think it happened like that, and maybe the story is not being told right. Maybe he beat, because they say it's a lot of because they say it was like been beaten, beaten badly and strangled. So they let you know that he probably did put his hands on old boy first. Probably, so a big fight, big scuffle, then pull the belt off to finish the job. Which again, you don't take it that far, just walk away. But then you got people thinking about what if this gets out, and that'd be the main issue that these transgender people don't understand. When you got guys who are straight, or who trying to live a straight life, or who wants to be perceived as straight, because some of these cases, I believe that some of these guys do know, some found out maybe in the past that these people that they're messing with are guys. And I think that once a relationship comes close to an end, that they're afraid that it's going to get out. People are going to find out that the person they dealt with was a man, and they might kill him, in that instance. I believe that happens too. But so that, once you know and you still commit this, oh man, it's like there's nothing you can say. You can't come out and say that that you didn't know, or what. I can't use that as an excuse. But this guy here said he did know. So what I think is, for this guy's case, I think he just beat him and then strangled and threw it in the lake. Like I said, the next story just told wrong. But again, you got to be truthful. Come out and let them know. Men, when you date people, and this goes, I want to say shout out to, Uncle Felix, that called himself Philip Scott, and he said the same thing. Man, when you date, you got to let people know. When you have to on these, especially on these apps, these social media apps, dating, you dating out in public, you got to pretty much just say, hey, are you a woman? Well, you born a woman, and I'm only dating women who are born women with the women parts. Period. And people might get upset. They might feel, I don't know, disrespected. Women might get upset, like I say, feel disrespected when you asking that. But you got to cover your bases, man, because it's too much going around. Too many murders. And me, I'm just trying to cut that murder, help cut the murder rate down. But the best way to do that, everybody just tell the truth. LGBTQ people, You got some work to do. You got people need to, you know what I'm saying, they need to step up and do what's right, because that is what's right. You get that taken care of and make sure that people are not surprised, you know, people are not living these lies, and then you may get more allies than you think. Because one thing I've heard people say in relationships, like when, say, a man is a cheater, or a man has multiple women, and women get mad, women find out, get mad, or what have you, and because the guy didn't tell her, but the dude is like, well, man, if I would have told her, you know what I'm saying, she would left me this and that third, then, but you hear people say, dude, if you just would have told her from the beginning, hey, you my main girl, but I like dating other people. You know, so I like dating you, or you don't have to say you're my main girl, just say, hey, I want to date you, but I also want to date other people. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna disrespect you when I'm with you, or what have you. It's like I don't disrespect them when I'm with them, but I just like, you know, I'm gonna be with multiple women. And they said you'd be surprised about how many women would be like, okay, I'm cool with that. But you never know unless you try. But anyway, let me end this. Tell me what you think. Do you think everybody on both sides need to have some kind of accountability? Again, murder is never advocated for in any instance, unless somebody's trying to murder or harm you. But with that being said, like I say, everybody has, in these cases, everybody has accountability. And some of them are just not holding themselves up to it. But anyway, that's all I gotta say with this story. Tell me what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like I say always, like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you want to support the channel, hit the description box. Click on the website, purchase some merchandise that helps support the channel. You got a YouTube channel just starting, or you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel, hit that TubeBuddy link below. Sign up with TubeBuddy. It's a great way to start, great way to build your audience, so you can get to those 1,000 subscribers, so you can get this channel monetized. And with that being said, I leave you the same way I came, and that's with peace.